Good morning, Marius. We were in the last class discussing about Pgbp and tried to complete what is happening in depreciation, right? Yes. After that, we did a smaller topic. I'm quickly going to revise that smaller topic once again so that you can remember, and then we can move forward. The smaller topic was about tea development account, coffee development account, rubber development account, and a site restoration fund. Yes. The act basically comes and says that if you are planning to do any kind of development for these businesses, or if you're planning to restore the site which you have used for extraction of petroleum or natural gas, in that case, if you allocate some money and put it in a special account called as tea development, coffee development, rubber development, or site restoration fund, then in that case, you can claim the amount which you have put in that fund as a deduction. How much will it come, Rahul? For that tea, coffee, rubber, it will become 40%. For the site restoration, it will become 20%. Now, 40 or 20 of what? It is of the Pgbp amount. It is of the Pgbp amount, which means you need to complete the whole Pgbp for the company, and then you have to do the deduction. After that, you have to allocate the 40 and 60. After that, you have to allocate the 40 and 60. If at all there is any 40 and 60, you can allocate that 40 and 60, and then you can allow for the losses. This is what we did in the chapter. Now, they came and said that the moment you have any kind of deposits made, the deposits have to be made within 6 months from the end of the previous year. 6 months from the end of the previous year. So you have to make it within 6 months from the end of the previous year. There is another condition that you have to do it before the due date of return filing, but that's anyway not applicable. And therefore it is not important. It's enough if you have it from the 6 months from the end of the previous year. Yes. Then we try to discuss as to what happens when you have money in the fund. The provisions come and say that if you have any money in the fund, you have to withdraw that money and utilize the money in the same year. What can you withdraw this money for, Rahul? You can withdraw this money for any purpose which is given in the scheme. You can also withdraw this money for buying any plant and machinery. But the condition is that if you're buying this plant and machinery from the money, you cannot buy any kind of office installation machineries, any kind of machineries on which 100% deduction is eligible, or any kind of machineries which are used for prohibited production of products. Yes. At the same time, they have also come and confirmed that you can buy computers even if it is for office purpose. The next part of the rule comes and says that even if you're buying machineries, please ensure that you do not sell the machinery within a period of 8 years. If you end up selling the machinery within a period of 8 years, whatever deduction you try to claim will be added back. At the same time, if you are planning to withdraw money because of some specific reasons, then also it will be violation of condition. What are those specific conditions? You need to ask yourself whether you are doing something voluntary, like dissolution or closure, or if it's happening because of a force of law, like liquidation, death, or partition. If those are happening, then in that case, you will not get a taxability. But if it is happening by your wish, in case of dissolution and closure, then whatever amount you withdraw will become taxable. This is a simple summary of that section. If you ask my past experiences, generally agriculture income has not come for exam so much, so the section is not very important. But just in case it comes also, it's not very complicated. You can remember it easily. Yes, just remember that the deduction will be the same number as what you get in your agriculture income. 40 there, 40 here. That's what the number is. So keep it in that mind. Beyond that, you don't have to worry so much about it. It's a very simple straight cut format. Yes. Can we go forward? Perfect. Moving on to the chapter. Today we are going to discuss the smaller provisions, the easier ones. The first one is section 35. Section 35 talks about scientific research. Okay. Section 35 talks about scientific research, where they come and say that if a company or an individual decides to spend some money on scientific researches, whatever money you try to spend will be allowed as a deduction. Now, this can be in two ways. One is that you have your own scientific research laboratory in your office or a company. Option number two, you have given this money to someone else for their laboratories, and you are asking them to do the research. In simple words, the first one is in-house R&D. The second one is donations. Income tax is telling that, boss, if you have any kind of scientific research places, any expenditure which you incur, whether it is capital or revenue, the whole of the expenditure will be allowed as a deduction. Except for only one product which income tax does not like, which is land. So if you have any kind of expenditures, the whole of the expenditures will be allowed as a deduction, except if it is a land. That is what the simple provisions are. That said, in the study material, you have multiple breakups. Let's read through those breakups and then we will try to understand how we can write it in a single line. Okay, so we're going to read those lines in the study material format. It says, if you have an in-house R&D, where you have incurred some research expenses before the commencement of the business, it income tax comes and says you can only claim the deduction for the last 3 years. You can only claim the deduction for the last 3 years, which means if you have incurred an deduction, if you have incurred an expense before 3 years, then you're not permitted as a deduction. You're not permitted as a deduction. In simple words, they're coming and saying research 3 years kulle the business should start. Yes. So what is the provisions coming and saying? You should have started your business within 3 years from the operations of research. 3 years from the operations of research, because if you have done a research before 3 years, it is not allowed as a deduction. Yes. What are the expenditures, Rahul? You can incur revenue expenditure, you can incur capital expenditure. If you are incurring revenue expenditure, then you can allow salaries and materials. You can allow salaries and materials 100%. If you have any other expenditure, it will be ignored. It will be ignored. Now, question to you is simple. You have not even started your business. What other revenue expenditure can you have? Other than salary and materials, do you think you can have any other revenue expenditures? Technically no. So therefore this provision is technically not applicable. It's technically not applicable, which means you only have one expenditure, which is salary and materials. All of revenue expenditure is allowed as 100% deduction. Coming to the capital side, they're coming and saying land is not allowed. Other expenditures are allowed. Land is not allowed and other expenditures are allowed. Moving on, it comes and says, if you incur any kind of research expenses after the commencement of business, I will ask you, who are you? Are you an approved company engaged in manufacturing or production or biotechnology? Who are you? Are you an approved company engaged in manufacture or production or biotechnology? In that case, I'll come and say any revenue expenditure you are 100% allowed as deduction. Any capital expenditure, if it is land, then it is not allowed. If it is building, then it is not allowed under 35(2)(ab). Under 35(2)(ab), it is not allowed, but you have somewhere else to discuss. So I'm going to ignore it right now. Next comes others. Others ka 100% allowed as a deduction. Then they're saying, Rahul, you are not an approved company or you're not into this manufacture or production or biotechnology. No worries. If you have any kind of revenue expenditure, you can claim 100%. If you have any capital expenditure, you can claim 100% except for building, except for land. Technically, what happens, Act comes and says, if you are into 35(2)(ab), which means you are approved, that provision comes and says you cannot claim deduction on building also. So what generally people do is, they don't claim the building alone in that 35(2)(ab), they end up claiming the building on the right side. Are you permitted to do it, Rahul? Yes, you are permitted. So even though building is specifically removed from 35(2)(ab), you can claim it as a deduction in the next part. That is why if you notice, under building alone, I have again put the 100% deduction, but I have used the word 35(1)(4). 35(1)(4) is nothing but the right side. 35(1)(4) is nothing but the right side. Yes or no? Yes. Then if you look at it, I am saying, Rahul, you are not into in-house R&D and all, you are into contributions. Now, if you make a contribution to an approved research association, university, college, institution, whether you do it for scientific or you do it for social, it is 100 and 100. If you do it for an approved Indian company for scientific research, again it is 100. If you do it for any approved national laboratory or IRT, it is still 100. Which simply means that regardless of whether you are doing in-house or you are doing contributions, no matter what it is, 100% is allowed as a deduction, except if you are doing land. Rahul, why are there so many breakups? You could have given a single line, no? I could have. Understand what happened is, about 4 years, 5 years back, every single item had a different deduction. Somewhere 200%, somewhere 150%, somewhere 100%. 3 to 4 years back, they came and said, boss, let's standardize everything and let's make everything 100%. So technically what ICI should have done is, ICI should have given a single line. But if they give a single line, it is not CA final, no. So therefore they retained the whole thing and they said 100 for everything. Okay. Since we are reading for exam, we will make it simple. In your book, you will find some space here. Let's note it down together. You can write in case of scientific research. In case of what? In case of scientific research, any expenditure, capital or revenue, capital or revenue or donation, any expenditure, capital or revenue or donation is fully allowed as deduction. Except for land. Except for land. In case of scientific research, any expenditure, whether it is capital or revenue, is fully allowed as deduction except for land. Hey, this line enough is enough. This line reading alone is enough. You don't have to read anything else. You don't have to read anything else. Please keep the balance space. Please keep the balance space. I will need it. I will need it later. Right now, I don't need it. Right now, I don't need it. But please keep the balance space. I need that for later. I need that for later. The moment you're reading these two lines, you can ignore everything else. You can ignore everything else. Don't read all those nonsense. Okay, don't read all those nonsense. Not coming for exam. Not coming for exam. Single two lines, enough provisions. Okay, so already book is getting down. Already book is coming down. You don't have to read so much. Okay, next part, if you read, the balance is all just administrative provisions where they're coming and saying if you want to claim a deduction like this, the institution to which you're making the payment should be approved, should give a certificate. All those things are there. Not relevant from exam perspective. They don't come for exam. Okay, if you want, you can read it quickly. It says if a capital asset has been claimed as deduction, no depreciation can be allowed. Then we said any contribution made shall not be allowed as deduction under any other provisions of the act. Obviously, when you have made it here, you cannot claim somewhere else. Only entities approved by DSIR shall be eligible for 35(2)(ab). Even if you are not claiming 35(2)(ab), others also you can claim 100%. So therefore, it doesn't matter. Entities receiving contribution shall prepare statements and deliver the same prescribed to income tax authorities and also furnish to the donor certificate of the same. If I am making donations to an institution, that institution should be approved and should give a certificate to the donor. If the certificate is given, then only the deduction can be claimed. Otherwise, deduction is not eligible. In case you don't give a certificate and all, you are levied a penalty ranging from 10,000 to 1 lakh under section 271K, and any kind of delay will be liable for a late filing fee of 200 per day. Failure to comply will make the donation ineligible for the assessee. That's all is a simple short provision. Nothing is important from exam. Nothing is important from exam. The only thing which you need to probably remember but has never been tested in exam is if at all you have any losses. If at all you have any losses, I told you, with the moment you have any losses, first priority goes to unabsorbed depreciation. Yes, they say, Rahul, if you have any kind of scientific research which is pertaining to capital part, scientific research, you're claiming two expenses. One is revenue, one is capital. Revenue, let it go. But if you have any capital nature expenses and that is also causing a loss issue, you can treat the same capital expenditure as an unabsorbed depreciation. You can treat the same as unabsorbed depreciation, which means, in simple words, let's say for example you find out that your Pgbp loss is 100. Your Pgbp loss is 100. You found out that your depreciation which you claimed is 20, and you claimed scientific research revenue of 10 and capital of 30. Income tax will say, boss, allocate to capital of scientific and to unabsorbed also. Okay, so your unabsorbed depreciation will become 20. Your unabsorbed capital scientific research will become 30. Balance will become your business losses. How much is your business losses? Your business loss will become 100 was there, 50 allocated, balance is 50. In simple words, they are coming and saying if you have any unabsorbed scientific, if you have any scientific research is also equivalent to your unabsorbed depreciation, which means the provisions are the same. What are the provisions, Rahul? Unabsorbed depreciation, you can claim up to infinite years. You can set off against any head other than salaries. Return filing on time is not mandatory. All these provisions same for scientific research also. Yes or no? Yes, simple straightforward provision. Any doubts? Can we go forward? Yes, right. This is the one section called as section 35. This is the one section called as section 35. I think I have a question, but it's not important from exam. So anyway, let's try. It says, A Limited is engaged in the business of manufacturing, furnishes you the following particulars for the financial year 23-24. Compute the deduction allowable under section 35 for the assessment year 24-25 while computing the income under the head Pgbp, assuming that is not opting for the provisions of 115BAA or BAB. I'm going to read the heading, you're going to tell me the amount, simple. Yes, heading says, amount paid to notified approved Indian Institution of Science, Bangalore for scientific research. Amount paid is 1 lakh. Deduction eligible is same 1 lakh. Why, Rahul? 100% deduction. Then amount paid to IIT Delhi for an approved scientific research program, 2,50,000. Amount allowed is 2,50,000. Amount paid to X Limited, a company registered in India which has its main objects as scientific research and development and is approved by prescribed authority, 4 lakhs. You are approved by prescribed authority, 4 lakhs you have paid. Amount eligible is 4 lakhs. Expenditure incurred in-house R&D facility as approved by prescribed authority. You have incurred revenue expenditure of 3 lakhs, so eligible amount is 3 lakhs. You have incurred capital expenditure including cost of land of 5 lakhs. Now understand, you have incurred a total expenditure of 7 lakh 50, cost of land is 5 lakh. I told you land you can claim, not claim. Not claim. If you cannot claim, land will be ignored, balance will be 2 lakh 50, so amount eligible is 2 lakh 50. That's all. Simple, easy provision. Simple, easy provision. Nothing to read in this. Nothing to read in this. In exam also, this will not be tested separately and all. One big compulsory question in that one line item will be contribution made to approved institutions. You will say allowed, no problem. Leave it off. Allowed and leave it off. Yes or no? Yes. Simple provisions. Moving forward. Moving forward. Income tax comes and says that, Rahul, if you have any kind of assets which you have bought for scientific research, I will tell you that you are eligible for 100% deduction. I will tell you that you are eligible for 100% deduction. But income tax comes and says that, Rahul, tomorrow if you plan to sell the asset, you will get a profit. Tomorrow if you plan to sell the asset, you will get a profit. So what should I do with the profit? What should I do with the profit? Income tax comes and says, tell me how did you sell the asset? Tell me how did you sell the asset? You have two options. You have two options. Rahul, I bought an asset for scientific research. I directly sold it out in the market. I directly sold it out in the market. Income tax says, boss, if you are planning to directly sell off your asset in the market, what are you planning to do? You're directly planning to sell in the market, which means you bought a scientific research asset, you sold it off in the market. Assuming you got a profit of 100, so you bought the cost at 100, you got a deduction of 100, you got a deduction of 100. You plan to sold it for 10 rupees. You plan to sell it for 10 rupees. Income tax will say, boss, the 10 rupees is technically a revenue, a capital profit. Profit on sale of asset is 10 rupees. Income tax is saying, no. It cannot be 10 rupees as capital profit because then you will ask for exemption. I'll use the same logic as depreciation. I'll come and say, boss, technically, if you're planning to sell this asset for 10 rupees, it means you have not utilized the asset worth 10 rupees. You have not utilized the asset worth 10 rupees. You have only utilized the asset for 90 rupees. So you should have only got 90. You claimed 100. So therefore 10 should be reversed. 10 should be reversed. So I will say sold directly. Profit will become taxable. As what do we used to call it? Balancing charge. Profit will become taxable as balancing charge. Yes. I have a cost of 100. I have deducted 100. I have sold it for 10 rupees. I am saying you have not utilized the asset worth 10 rupees. You have only utilized it for 90 rupees. So the balance 10, I am reversing it off. Balance 10, I am reversing it off. So the moment I reverse it, whatever is the claim I made, I have to reverse the claim. I am reversing 10 rupees, which is nothing but the profit. Ask yourself a question, Rahul, can you ever have a loss? Can you ever have a loss? Can you ever have a loss? Answer is no. Why, Rahul, can you not have a loss? Your cost was 100, you claimed 100, which means your WDV is 0. Your WDV is 0. So no matter how hard you try, you cannot sell it at loss. So loss is not possible, which means you can only have a profit. Yes. So simply they are coming and saying, if you sold off directly, whatever profit you have will be taxable as balancing charge. Option number 2. I'm coming and saying, no, Rahul, I have not sold it. What I did is I bought the asset for scientific research. Then I gave it off to my normal business. I gave it off to my normal business. So what I've done, I've transferred it to my normal business. I've transferred it to my normal business. Income tax is saying, boss, if you want to transfer, go ahead and transfer. Go ahead and transfer. The only problem is your WDV is 0. So business block will also get 0. So cost for the block will become 0. Cost for the block will become 0. They're saying, boss, you have already claimed the deduction of the whole asset, which means WDV is 0. So even if you transfer it to the block, it will become 0. So will you get depreciation? No. What will happen? Just your block will increase. Just your block will increase. Your block will say, now I have 5 assets. That's all. Okay. But the depreciation will be 0 because the cost is also 0. The cost is also 0. Simple, straightforward provision. Simple, straightforward provision. Any doubts? No. Can we go forward? Can we go forward? Yes. This was section 35. This was section 35. Sold directly, it will be taxable as Pgbp. It will be taxable as Pgbp. Hey, rules of capital gains will still remain. Rules of capital gains will still remain. What I told you, if you plan to sell the asset beyond the cost also, then the difference will become capital gains because it is now an investment asset. It is now an investment asset. So to the extent of the profit which is pertaining to your deduction, you will claim it in Pgbp. Balance everything will go to capital gains. Balance everything will go to capital gains. If you plan to sell it off to your business itself, then in that case the block transfer it will be 0. The block transfer it will be 0. Yes or no? Yes. Next, 2 items from your final level portion. It comes and says, if you have incurred any kind of expenditure on agriculture extension project. What project? Agriculture extension project. Then in that case, whatever expenditure which you incurred, 100% of that is allowed as a deduction except for land and building. Except for land and building. Please highlight this and keep in mind that in this you are not eligible for building cost. You are not eligible for building cost. Land cost, anyway, everywhere you were not eligible. Anyway, everywhere you were not eligible. In this one, you are not eligible for building also. You're not eligible for building also. Be extremely careful about this. Yes. What expenditures are you incurring, Rahul? You're incurring some agricultural extension project, or you're doing some skill development project. Income tax comes and says, if you're doing agriculture extension project, it is for every company. It is for every company. But if you're doing some skill development project, it is applicable only to manufacturing companies. It is applicable only to manufacturing companies. Again, 100% of the deduction is allowable except for land and building. Except for land and building. Yes. Now, one thing which I wanted to clarify to you people is, if you notice the sections are jumbled up. I have created like that. Technically 35 kapro 35 AD varno. Yes, but I have put 35 CCC and 35 CCD in the first. I've put it like that because I wanted to maintain consistency. Right? When you read for your exams, if you read it in different order, you will be confused. So what I've done is, every item which looked similar, I clubbed it together. So scientific research was also 100. This is also 100. So I clubbed them together. Sections are jumbled up in my material as compared to ICI study material because I want to keep a sequence. Yes. After the sections get over, you will find a summary on the bottom also somewhere. You'll find summaries and all on the bottom so that it makes easier for you. Okay. So what I've done is I've just clubbed everything and jumbled it off and kept it in my book so that you understand things better. So find it differently. Yes or no? Yes. So the second 2 items I told you is agricultural extension project and skill development project. Simple. Can we go forward? Yes. Next item is called as 35 AD. Rahul, 35 AD you would have learnt in inter also. It is called as investment linked allowances, or we in simple words call it as specified businesses. What do we call it as? Specified businesses. Income tax is coming and saying, I have found some businesses which I feel are important and can help me grow my India. So I am coming and saying, Rahul, I have some specified businesses. That specified businesses, I expect you to claim higher deduction. And do better job. So therefore, I have notified some businesses. Let's read the businesses together. Don't mark anything. I will tell you what are important. The first one, it says building and operating hotel of 2-star and above. Building and operating a hospital with 100 beds. Setting up and operating a cold chain facility. Setting up and operating a ICD or a CFS. ICD is Inland Container Depot. CFS is Container Freight Station. You would have learned it in your customs of IDT in case you have done it. In case you have done it, you learn it in IDT. If not, don't worry about it. You learn it in there. Okay. These are basically special depots which are created where you can keep your product until the custom clearances come. So this is a special area created by the customs authority where you can store your products. Then setting up and operating a semiconductor wafer fabrication manufacturing unit. Then setting up and operating a warehousing facility for the storage of sugar or agricultural produce. Notice carefully. I'm saying I'm creating a warehousing facility for storage of sugar. Sugar is a processed product. You get from sugarcane. But the next word is agricultural produce. Rahul, what do you mean by agricultural produce? Agricultural produce means any kind of raw product which you have grown. Like food grains, paddy, all those items. Okay, so it should be the unfinished product which we discussed in agriculture income. The product which you can sell in the market today after growing. It should not be processed. Which means sugarcane is a agricultural produce. Sugar is a processed product. Rahul, is sugarcane eligible? Yes. Is sugar eligible? Specifically, yes. Rahul, I have paddy. I also have rice. I have a warehousing facility for paddy. I have a warehousing facility for rice. Rahul, for paddy can I claim? Yes, because it is agricultural produce. For rice can I claim? No, because it is processed. Understand, the item which should be stored is only an agricultural produce, and therefore ICA has a very famous question or a favorite question. In that question, they'll always come and say, I have created a warehousing facility for edible oil. Rahul, what is edible oil, ma? What is edible oil? Edible oil, in simple words, are those oil which you use for your food products. Okay, you have this mustard oil, coconut oil, almond oil, all those oils, soya oil and all those things. Yes, the oils which you use for eating, and making your products, those are called as edible oil. Tell me, no, those edible oil is directly grown on the land, or are you manufacturing it? I am manufacturing it. Therefore, they said it is not eligible. Therefore, for your convenience, I have put a box. As such, you should understand it, but just for your convenience, I have put a box also. Okay. So, what is it? It is a warehousing facility for sugar or agricultural produce. Then, I am saying any kind of developing and building a housing project under a scheme of slum redevelopment project or affordable housing. Any kind of slum redevelopment or affordable housing, I have done a slum redevelopment project. Then fertilizer production in India, beekeeping and honey and bee wax production, laying and operating a cross-country natural gas or crude or petroleum oil pipelines network for distribution including storage facilities, laying and operating a slurry pipeline for the transportation of iron ore, developing and maintaining a new infrastructure facility. Yes, these are all the business which ICA has notified, income tax has notified. These are all the business which income tax has notified. Rahul, from exam perspective, do you have to remember these business names? Yes, you do have to remember this from exam perspective. Rahul, how to remember all these nonsense? Don't remember. I will tell you some items which are generally tested. Mark those items. That alone, if you read for exam, that's enough. Okay. What are the items, Rahul? First is hotel and 2-star and above. First items are hotel with 2-star and above, hospital with 100 beds, and the third item is setting up and operating a warehousing facility. For sugar and agricultural produce. These are the items which are generally been tested in exam. So this alone, if you read from exam perspective, that should do. Yes or no? Now, Rahul, what is the benefit? Income tax comes and says, Rahul, if you have these kind of businesses, whatever revenue expenditure you incurred is anyway allowable. Over and above that, whatever capital expenditure you had, don't have to claim depreciation on it. You can directly claim 100% deduction current year. In the current year. So the provisions come and say that if you have incurred any kind of capital expenditures under these units, Under these units, 100% of the capital expenditure will be allowed as a deduction. 100% of the capital expenditure will be allowed as a deduction except for three items. Except for three items. If you have incurred any kind of expenditure on land, if you have incurred any kind of expenditure on goodwill, and if you have incurred any kind of expenditure on financial instruments. Question to you. Can you ever incur expenditure in the nature of goodwill? Can you ever incur expenditure in the nature of goodwill? Possible. Can you incur expenditure? See, goodwill and all self-generation not permitted. You can only purchase. Can you purchase some other business which will give you goodwill? No, you can't do it, because somewhere in the bottom you'll see that the unit should not be formed by splitting up or reconstruction. So the moment you buy the unit from someone else, it is lost. Yes. So technically, can you incur any kind of expenditure on goodwill? No, you cannot incur any kind of expenditure on goodwill. Financial instruments and all is not tested for exam. Financial instruments is not tested for exam. In simple words, from exam perspective, the only expenditure which you can incur is land. Yes or no? So income tax in simple ways come and say, if you incur any kind of capital expenditure, 100% of it is allowed as a deduction except for land. Clear, not clear? Yes, I'm trying to make things simple for you people. Pgbp should become simpler. Okay, that is what the idea is. So I'm reducing provisions to the extent possible. This should be enough for exam. Now there are some rules. I'm not going to mug up all the rules. I'm going to simply tell you. Rule number 1, they are coming and saying deduction of 35 AD is optional. Optional meaning, Rahul, you can choose to claim the deduction, or you can choose to go back to depreciation. You can choose to claim this deduction, or you can choose to come and say, I don't want to do this business as it is. I want to do normal depreciation. Income tax is okay with it. So the section is optional. Rule number 2, I'm coming and saying that, Rahul, since you're talking about expenditures of capital nature, there could be a possibility that the expenditures could be incurred before the business is started. Income tax says if you have incurred an expense before the business is started, that is also permitted. As long as you capitalize it in your books. Don't come and tell me that you have incurred an expenditure but it is not showing in the books. I cannot give it. I need some proof. So if you capitalize it in your books, I will give you the deduction. The only thing to keep in mind is, in this, there is no restriction of the 3 years. Where did we learn 3 years? Scientific research. So scientific research has a restriction of 3 years. Here there is no restriction of 3 years. Is it important from exam? Not really. I'm just clarifying it to you. Yes. Next, they're coming and saying that, Rahul, if you have incurred any kind of expenditures should not be incurred more than 10,000 to one person in one day. If you have incurred an expenditure more than 10,000 to one person in one day, you should incur this expenditure only by permissible modes. If you incur it by non-permissible modes, I cannot give you the deduction. The reason I am putting it here is because if you notice, these are capital items. In depreciation, we came and said you will ignore the cost. But here you cannot ignore the cost because you are claiming it. So I am saying, for the purpose of claim, I will ignore it for you. Understand the difference, people. I told you the English. There we were never allowing something. So therefore, I am ignoring. Here I am planning to allow, so I am saying not allowed. Where what impact is happening, that is what is important. Keep it in mind. Yes or no? Yes. Next, I am coming and saying that, Rahul, don't come and tell me that, Rahul, you want to claim this expenditure from an existing business. So which means if you want to create this unit, it should be a fresh unit. You should not have acquired someone else's plant and machinery and done this. One entity has started doing units. It is claiming the whole deduction. Once the asset is over, then it is giving to you. Then you are again claiming deduction. Not allowed. It should not be incorporated by a splitting up or reconstruction. Except up to a maximum of 20% of the plant and machinery. 20% of the plant and machinery. 20% of the plant and machinery can be second hand. But if you are buying any plant and machinery from outside India, from where? Outside India, it is treated as new machinery. I told you, except for additional depreciation, everywhere else, whenever you see this provision that you should not do a splitting up or reconstruction, any machinery you buy from outside India will be considered a new machinery. Except for one place called as additional depreciation, except for one place called as additional depreciation. Yes or no? Yes or no? Keep in mind. Keep in mind. Yes, 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 yes. Then I'm coming and saying if you're claiming any 3580, no deduction will be allowed anywhere else. No depreciation will be allowed on the assets because obviously you have claimed full 100% deduction. You can claim full 100% deduction. Then they're coming and saying if you have any kind of asset which you have claimed a 100% deduction, I want you to hold the asset for at least 8 years. How many? 8 years. We just learned this 8 years somewhere else called as tea, coffee, rubber development. Yes, there also we learned the 8 years. Here also it is 8 years. ICA loves 8 years. ICA loves 8 years. For them, 8 years kulla asset will normally get depreciated. For them, 8 years kulla assets will get normally depreciated. So they came and said 8 years is bare minimum I want. 8 years is bare minimum I want. Yes or no? This is what the provisions are. This is what the provisions are. In this whole thing, Rahul, what to remember from exam perspective? Read the 3 businesses. Read the 3 businesses. What are the 3 businesses, Rahul? One is hotel of 2-star and above. Second is hospital with 100 beds. Third one is warehousing facility for sugar and agricultural produce. 3 businesses to read. Next you need to read is that you can claim 100% of the capital expenditure except for land. And the last thing to read is if you are going to claim some expenditure should not be incurred more than 10,000 one person one day except for permissible modes. If you read these 3, enough for the section. Don't have to read anything else. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, this is what the provisions are. Yes, Ritanya.
Expenditure specifically they mentioned. So how do we understand the revenue expenditure?
Why do you have to specifically clarify anything, Ritanya? Question to you is very simple. Let's say you are doing a warehousing facility, okay, and you're going to pay salary to the security guard for handling the warehousing facility. Now, if you have paid warehousing security guard a salary, is it revenue or capital? Is it for the business, not for the business?
For the
incurred by the assessee, not incurred by the assessee?
incurred by the
Permissible modes, non-permissible modes? You can check. Permissible modes, correct? If all this is happening, then you don't need 3580 for it. You can go to 37. So 37 will take care of it. Yes, 37 comes and says if you are not having any sections covering 30 to 36, then I don't worry, come and look at me. I will come and say it is incurred for the purpose of business. It is fully for the purpose of business. Therefore, 37 will give me the deduction. Okay. Anyway, it's a revenue expenditure. So there is no doubt about you can claim it. Okay. This section is specifically giving capital expenditure also because that is where you have a problem and that is where you need to claim depreciation. Clear? Yes. This is what the section comes and says. Any doubts? No? Let's look at the section questions. It says, Mr. A commenced operations of the business of setting up a warehousing facility for the storage of food grains, sugar and edible oil on 1st April 2023. Who are you first of all? You are Mr. A, which means are you individual or a company? You are an individual. Keep it in mind, you are an individual who is planning to have a warehousing facility for the storage of food grains, sugar and edible oil. Now look at the items and tell me which of the items are eligible under 3580 and which of the items are not eligible under 3580. Are you eligible for food grains? A, are you eligible for food grains? Yes, you are eligible for food grains. Are you eligible for sugar? Yes, because it is specifically given. Are you eligible for edible oil? No, you are not eligible for edible oil because income tax comes and says you cannot claim edible oil. It is a processed product, which means edible oil is not a specified business. Does it mean that for edible oil, Rahul, I will get no deduction? You will get a deduction, but not the capital expenditure. You will get a deduction of depreciation. Keep it in mind. Yes, so I have 2 products which are eligible for 3580. I have 1 product which is not eligible for 3580. I will get depreciation. Yes, question comes and says that I have set up a warehousing facility on 1st April 2023. I have incurred a capital expenditure of 80 lakhs, 60 lakhs and 50 lakhs respectively in each of these business. I have incurred this expenditure for purchasing land and building. Question to you, can you claim both land and building? No, I told you you can only claim building, you cannot claim land. I have incurred this expenditure during the period January 23 to March 23 exclusively for the above businesses. Look at the dates carefully. I incurred this expenditure between Jan to March 23. My business started only on April 23, which means I incurred this expense before my business started or after my business started? I incurred this expense before my business started. If I've incurred this expense before my business started, I told you the rules come and say that you should have capitalized it in your books of accounts for you to claim the deduction. Let's check. It says, I have incurred these expenses for the purchase of land and building during the period Jan to March 23 and capitalized the same in the books of accounts as on 1st April. A, have you capitalized? Have you capitalized? Yes. Can you claim deduction? Yes. On what can you claim deduction? Land, building, or both? You can only claim on building. You can only claim on building. Read the next line. It says, the cost of the land which is incurred in the above figures are given as 50 lakhs, 40 lakhs and 30 lakhs. So now you know what is the land cost, which means the difference will be the building cost. The difference will be the building cost. Then they're coming and saying during the financial year 23-24. Hey, 23-24 is your previous year or next previous year? It's your previous year. In your previous year, you have incurred a capital expenditure of 20 lakh rupees, 15 lakh rupees and 10 lakh rupees for extension and reconstruction of the building purchased and used exclusively for the above businesses. You incurred some expenses before the business. After the business also you incurred 20, 15 and 10. 20, 15 and 10. Rahul, 20 can you claim? Yes, because it is for food grains. 15 can you claim? Yes, because it is for sugar. 10 can you claim? Yes, but only depreciation. Yes, but only depreciation because it is for edible oil. Because it is for edible oil. The question comes and says the profit of the business of setting up a warehousing facility for the storage of food grains, sugar and edible oil before claiming any 35 AD or 32. Before claiming any 35 AD or 32 is given as 16 lakhs for food grains, 14 lakhs for sugar, 31 lakhs for edible oil. 31 lakhs for edible oil. Assume that in respect of the expenditure incurred, all payments were made by account pay check or use of electronic clearing system through bank account. A, permissible mode, non-permissible mode. Permissible mode, so no problem. You are required to compute the income under the head Pgbp for the assessment year 24-25, assuming that the loss and the loss to be carried forward, assuming that Mr. A is exercising the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. I am doing what? I am an individual. So I have to normally use 115 BSE. I am deciding to come out of 115 BSE. I am deciding to come out of 115 BSE and he has fulfilled all the conditions prescribed under 35 AD and wants to claim any deduction under 35 AD, meaning the person is opting for it. The person is opting for it. I told you it is optional. It is not mandatory. It is optional and not mandatory. So I am saying I want to opt for it. I want to opt for it. So he is deciding that he wants to claim 35 AD. Now if he wants to claim 35 AD, he can claim 35 AD on food grains and sugar. Can he claim on edible oil? No, he cannot claim on edible oil. So edible oil, he'll have to do depreciation. He'll have to do depreciation. Yes, can we do the question? Let's do the question. Let's do the question. On your books, quickly. This is question number 8. Hey, I'm not going to do it quickly. Question number 8. What is the heading called? What is the question asking you for? Are they asking you for deductions or are they asking for Pgbp? They're asking you for Pgbp. So let's do Pgbp. So what is the heading? Heading is called as computation of Pgbp. Computation of Pgbp of who are you? You are Mr. A. You are Mr. A for the assessment year 24-25. Computation of Pgbp of Mr. A for the assessment year 24-25. Yes. Yes. What am I going to do? I'm going to find my Pgbp. So I need one column called as particulars. I need one column called as particulars. Hey, how many businesses do I have? How many businesses do I have? I have how many businesses? I have 3 businesses. So if I have 3 businesses, I have to do 3 columns. I have to do 3 columns. So let's make 3 columns. First column will be called as food grains. First column will be called as food grains. Second column will be called as sugar. Third column will be called as edible oil. Third column will be called as edible oil. Yes. Yes. What is the first thing you need in PGBP, ma'am? What is the starting format? I told you always start from net profit. So let's start from net profit. Let's start from net profit. Question comes and says the profit from the business of setting up and warehousing facility for storage of sugar grains, food grains and edible oil is before claiming deduction is 16 lakhs, then 14 lakhs, then 31 lakhs. Yes, 16, 14 and 31. 16, 14 and 31. Then I am saying I am eligible for 35 AD also. I am eligible for 32 also. Which one is 35 AD and which one is 32, Rahul? First two are 35 AD. Second, third, last one is 32. So I am first going to do 35 AD. I am first going to do 35 AD. So I am saying deduction under section 35 AD. Deductions under section 35 AD. Now, if you see the question properly, I told you I have incurred capital expenditure twice. First before business, second during business. First before business and during business. So I am going to say first before commencement of business. Before business commencement. Now, if you just write before business commencement, like I told you, ICI may not give you full marks. May not give you full marks because there is something on your head, but you have not written it down. Yes, what was on your head? When we discussed, I told you before commencement is eligible only if it is capitalized. Only if it is capitalized. So you have to clarify that also. You'll have to clarify that also. You'll have to say allowed since it is capitalized. Since it is capitalized. Now you will think, Rahul, these are very small things. Even the examiner should know. Yes, he should know. But does he know? Maybe no. Maybe not. Why do you want to risk it? Why do you want to risk it? At the end of the day, it's your paper. Okay, so be careful about it. Give everything off. No, what is your problem? Anyway, you have it on your head. How much time will it take to write down? Okay, you may lose half a mark because of this. Might as well get the mark. Might as well get the mark. At the same time, you'll have to come and say allowed since it is capitalized, excluding land. Excluding land. I told you land is not eligible. Land is not eligible. Now tell me what are the assets, Rahul? I have 80 lakhs in my food grains. Out of 80 lakhs, 50 lakhs is my land. Yes or no? Out of 80 lakhs, 50 lakhs is my land. Therefore, I am eligible for 30. In second case, 60 lakhs is the cost. 40 lakhs is land, which means I am eligible for 20. Last scenario, I am eligible for Last scenario I'm eligible for 0. I'm eligible for 0 because it is depreciation. Next, I'm saying after commencement of business. After commencement of business. Now, if you read carefully, it says during the previous year 23-24, he incurred capital expenditure of 20 lakhs, 15 lakhs and 10 lakhs for extension or reconstruction of building purchased and using exclusively for the above business, which means this expense was building cost or land cost. It is purely building cost. If it is purely building cost, can I claim the whole deduction? Yes. So therefore, I am claiming 20 for my food grains, 15 for my sugar and nothing for my edible oil. Yes or no? Yes. Now, because these are deductions, please put them in brackets. So that you know you have to reduce them. Yes. Yes. Can we go forward? Next is less. Less what? I am already done with 35 AD. What is pending for me? Pending is depreciation. Yes. Now depreciation is only for the last column. Now in last column I have also again incurred before commencement and after commencement. I have incurred before commencement and after commencement, but it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter because when it comes to depreciation, all the assets have been put to use for more than 180 days. Have been put to use for more than 180 days. So I have to split my assets into two. One is called as building. One is called as building. The other is called as land. The other is called as land. Now tell me how much is the building cost. Tell me how much is the building cost. Question comes and says, when I started my business, I incurred a total capital expenditure of 50, in which land was 30. So therefore it is 20. Yes, no. I totally incurred 50, out of which land is 30. Therefore my cost is 20 plus. How much have I incurred for extension? I have incurred for extension 10. I have incurred for extension 10. Rahul, depreciation rate is it is 10%. Depreciation rate is 10%. So 20 plus 30 will become 30 lakhs plus 10% will become 3 lakhs. Plus 10% will become 3 lakhs. Again, since it is a deduction, please put it in brackets. Please put it in brackets. Land, what is the cost? Land is 50 minus 30, therefore 20. 50 minus 30, therefore 20. 20 Kamala, can you claim depreciation, Rahul? Can you claim depreciation, Rahul? No, you cannot claim depreciation. Therefore, depreciation will become 0. Land will become 0. And will become 0. Done na? Done na? This is what the answer is. Find out the totals and give me. Find out the totals for me. It is 50 minus 16. Therefore, 34 in loss. 34 in loss. Then 35 minus 14. 21 in loss. 21 minus 3 is 28 of profit. It's 28 of profit. Yes or no? These are my Pgbp incomes. These are my Pgbp incomes. These are my Pgbp incomes. Yes. Yes. Now. Is the question asking you for Pgbp per business, or is the question asking you for Pgbp of Mr. A overall? Is the question asking for Pgbp of Mr. A overall, or is the question asking you for Pgbp per business? It is asking for the Pgbp of A overall. Now notice, one business you have a profit, other two businesses you have losses. One business you have profit, other two businesses you have losses. Technically you should be able to set off. Yes or no? Technically you should be able to set off, but tell me, the loss of food grains and the loss of sugar is coming because of the special deduction I gave you, or it's coming because the business itself is doing bad? It is because of the special deduction which I am giving to you. So therefore income tax came and said, boss, if I end up telling you that you can set off your food grains with normal business, every year I may end up losing tax from you. Every year I may end up losing tax from you. I cannot let go of so much tax. So income tax came and said, if you have any loss from specified businesses, you cannot set it off against any normal business. Any specified business can only be set off against specified business. Any specified business can be set off only against specified business. So this is now your fourth loss. We already discussed speculative loss. Then we discussed unabsorbed depreciation. Then we discussed normal business loss. This is your fourth loss. Which is called as specified business loss. Income tax comes and says, if you have any specified business losses, you can only set it off against specified business incomes. If you don't have any specified business incomes, you can carry forward and set off against specified business incomes. Rahul, how many years can I carry forward? Ask yourself, is this loss because of income tax or because of me? It's because of income tax. Yes. So income tax itself is promoting you the loss. In which case, will income tax like to give a special holding period, or will like to give it infinitely to you? They will like to give it infinitely to you. So therefore income tax comes and says, if you have any specified business loss, you can carry forward for infinite years. You can carry forward for infinite years as long as you file your return on time. As long as you file your return on time. The same provisions as unabsorbed depreciation, with the exception that you have to file your return mandatory here. You have to file your return mandatory here, and unabsorbed depreciation you can set off against any head other than salaries. Specified business loss can be set off only against specified business incomes. Specified business incomes. Now ask yourself, in the current year, do you have any specified business income, Rahul? Do you have any specified business incomes? Do you have any specified business incomes? Nothing is there. Nothing is there. Therefore, the losses which you see, can you set off? Can you set off? No. 34 will become carry forward. 21 will also become carry forward. 28 will become your taxable in the current year. 28 will become taxable in the current year, which means your taxable PGBP for the year is only how much? 28 lakhs. Your taxable PGBP for the current year is 28 lakhs, and the loss to be carried forward. The loss to be carried forward is 34 plus 21, therefore 55 lakhs. Yes, your total PGBP income will become 28 lakhs, and the loss to be carried forward will become 55 lakhs. Because 55 is loss, 28 is income, loss will set off fully, income will become 0, tax will become 0. Specified business loss can only be set off against specified business incomes. Since edible oil is not a specified business, I cannot set off against that. I have to pay tax on my normal businesses. Okay. In simple words, income tax is coming and saying that do not take a benefit of my special provisions. Do not take benefit of my special provisions and start setting off against your normal businesses. I will not be able to make money then. I will not be able to make money then. So if any specified business loss is coming to you, that you keep with yourself. That will keep with yourself. The year in which you start making profits under your business, that year you claim it. That year you claim it. Rahul, what is this year? Will it ever happen? It will happen. When will it happen, Rahul? The years in which you stop making capital expenditures. Think about it. No, this is the year of incorporation. That is why you have so much of capital expenditure. That is why you have so much of capital expenditure. At a certain point of time, your company will stop investing in capex. Yes or no? Because every asset is there in the book. So now you just have to make business. That year, will you have any capital expenditure reduction? No. That year you will have profits. That profits you set off. That profits you set up. So income tax is coming and saying until and unless you are making capital expenditures, you will incur losses. You will incur losses. The year in which you stop making capital expenditures, you'll automatically make profits. That year you go and set off. That year you go and set off. That is what the rules is. Yes, ma'am.
So actually, this first year, they 35 maybe is only optional rates.
Yes.
So the next year, if they have a capital expenditure, they cannot.
No. So if you have chosen that unit for a 35 AD, you have to permanently follow it. You cannot keep jumping around. That is not permissible. Okay. If you've chosen that unit to be a deduction, eligible deduction, you have to complete with it. I will tell you. Actually, I have a question arranged that also. I'll give to you right now. Okay. Right now, this is what the provision is. Your specified business loss will be set off only against specified business incomes. Specified business incomes. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, I had one question in my mind. The question is, first of all, is this done? Is this done? Can we go for it? Yes. Yes, the question was like this. Now, if you notice the example which I gave you, the question which we did, we told a total loss of 55 lakhs, correct? We told a total loss of 55 lakhs, which I told we are carrying forward, and set off against the future years. Now, what happened is, in the future years, this person was never making profits. Always was incurring losses. So what happened is, he decided to open another hospital business. Another hospital business. So what happened is, he opened a hospital business. Now the hospital has more than 100 beds. The hospital has more than 100 beds. Now the question is this a specified business or non-specified business? It is a specified business. Yes. But what happened is, this time the person made a decision that he does not want to claim 35 AD. He does not want to claim 3580 because the moment he's claiming 3580, he's incurring huge losses. He's incurring huge losses. So he told, I don't want 3580, I'll go with normal depreciation. I'll go with normal depreciation. And what happened is, in this year, this business did a profit of 30 lakhs. This year, the business did a profit of 30 lakhs. Now you are carrying forward a loss of 55. You are carrying forward a loss of 55. Can you set off this 55 against 30? Can you set off this 55 against 30? Basically, what my question is, when I told that you can set off the specified business loss against specified business income, should that specified business income business, should it be claiming 3580 or is it not mandatory? Or is it not mandatory? It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. Income tax comes and says you can set off the specified business loss against specified business income. I have not told you that the specified business income should be claiming the deduction. Should be claiming the deduction. Even if it is not claiming the deduction, you can still set off. You can still set off. The only idea is it should be a specified business income. It should be a specified business income. Since the entity is a specified business, even if it is not claiming a deduction, you can still set off the losses. You can still set off the losses. In simple words, Rahul, when you have a specified business loss, what do you have? When you have a specified business loss, the order of priority is like this. Order of priority, first priority set off with the same unit income. Okay, if the same unit itself is making a profit, you set off with the same unit, no problem, then there is no problem. Second order of priority, set off with an other unit claiming 3580. Okay, yes, I told you that my entities were warehousing facility of sugar and agricultural produce. Now I am planning to set it off against my hospital business, which is claiming 3580. No problem, set off. No problem, set off. Scenario number 3, set it off against unit not claiming 3580 but is a specified business. But is a specified business. If nothing of this is happening, you can carry forward to next year. You can carry forward to next year, yes or no? Which means in the current year, if I have any specified business loss, first I will set off against the same unit order income. If there is not there, then I will set off against any other unit which is claiming 3580. If that is also not there, I can claim it against any other unit not claiming 3580, but I can never touch my non-specified businesses. If nothing of this is happening, you can carry forward. You can carry forward to next year because it is infinite period. Yes, important provision. Keep this in mind. Important provision, keep this in mind. It is there in the study material, don't worry about it. Okay, in the concept book, it is there here. Yes, any loss from specified businesses can be set off against any other profits of any specified businesses, irrespective of whether the latter is eligible for deduction under 3580 or not. Irrespective of whether the latter is claiming 3580 or not. For instance, if you have a loss from hospital, you can set off the loss from hospital from any profits of the existing hospital. If that is not happening, you can set off against any other hospital not claiming 3580. If that is also not happening, then you can set off against any other businesses, whether it is claiming 3580 or not claiming 3580. Whether it is claiming 3580 or not claiming 3580. This is what is called as specified businesses. Yes or no? Yes or no? Look at it carefully. See if you understand this. Shall we go forward? Yes. Question number 9. See, the question says XYZ Limited is commenced the business of operations of a new 3-star hotel in Madurai. A 3-star hotel, specified business, non-specified business. It is specified business because it is 2-star and above. It is 2-star and above. So it is 3-star hotel. They have started the business on 1st April 2023. The company has incurred a capital expenditure of 50 lakhs during the period Jan to March 2023 and has capitalized the same in the books of accounts on 1st April 2023. I have started my business. I have capitalized it also. Eligible, not eligible? Eligible. How much have I incurred? I have incurred 50 lakhs. I don't know how much is it 50 lakhs pertaining to, whether it is building or land. I don't know. Let's hold. Next, during the previous year 23-24, it incurred a capital expenditure of 2 crores, out of which 1.5 crores is land. Now, in this, they have clarified that current year I incurred 2 crores, 1.5 crores is land, which means balance 0.5 crores is building. So that is eligible, which means nothing is given. I am assuming this 0.5 is also building. மேலே இருக்கிறது 0.5 is also building, கீழே இருக்கிறது 0.5 is also building, both are together becoming 1 crore. You are required to compute the income under the head Pgbp for the assessment year 24-25, assuming that the XYZ is fulfilling all the conditions of 35AD and is opting to claim 35AD, has not claimed any other section, and he is not opting for the concessional provisions of 115BAA. Why is it BAA, Rahul? Because it is XYZ Limited. It's a company. The profits of the business of running this hotel before claiming the deduction is 25 lakhs. Assuming that the company also has another existing business of running 4-star hotel in Coimbatore, which it operated 50 years back. Okay. Now this person was also having another 4-star hotel. 4-star hotel is eligible, not eligible? Eligible. The profits of which are given as 120 lakhs. Now for that business, they have not clarified anything. My assumption is there is no other deductions. You are required to assume that the expenditure incurred during the previous year 23-24 is paid by account, paycheck, or use of electronic clearing system. Permissible modes, non-permissible modes. Yes. So in this question, basically they're coming and saying the profit of this business is 25 lakhs. I have incurred some expenditures before commencement and after commencement. I also have a separate business where the profit is 120 lakhs. Help me out with the deduction. It's a very simple deduction. I will come and say, first of all, computation of Pgbp. Yes, it's a very simple thing. You can do it on yourself at your home. I'm just doing it quickly. Okay, computation of Pgbp for the assessment year 24-25. I am coming and saying that my business profit in the current year is how much? 25 lakhs. My business profit is 25 lakhs. Yes or no? It says 25 lakhs. Then they say less deduction under 35 AD. Now in 35 AD, I incurred some before, I incurred some after. In before, did they say anything is land? No, which means I am assuming everything is building. Yes. After, I incurred 2 crores. In that 2 crores, 1.5 crores is land, which means building is again 50. Therefore, my total deduction becomes 100. Which means my profit is now negative 75. Rahul, you have a specified business loss. You can set off only against specified business incomes. Question comes and says you have a running 4-star hotel in Coimbatore which has commenced 15 years back. Operations is giving a profit of 120 lakhs. Rahul, is it a specified business? Yes. So therefore, you can take this thing. You can come and say Pgbp from 4-star hotel. How much? 120 less specified business loss of 3-star either. 3-star hotel. How much is this 3-star hotel? 75. Therefore, my total Pgbp current year becomes 45. Yes or no? Yes. So my Pgbp income for the current year is 45 lakhs. Clear? Simple provisions. Yes. Okay, 25, 100, 75, 120 becomes 45. Yes or no? Can we go forward? Yes. Now, I came and told you that if you are into scientific research, Rahul, you are planning to claim a deduction. I told you that if you plan to sell this asset in the market, whatever profits you get will become taxable. Whatever assets which you transfer to your other businesses will become WDV 0. Yes, same provisions there in specified business also. Same provisions are there in specified business also. Heading is called as sale of specified business assets. Sale of specified business assets. I told you, Rahul, when you have a specified business asset, you can do two things. You can do two things. One is what? You can sold it directly in the market. You can sold it directly in the market, or you can transfer it to your other business. You can transfer it to your other business. Income tax is coming and saying that if you plan to sell it in the market, how is it happening? Rahul, my cost is 100. My cost is 100. My deduction is also 100. My deduction is also 100. I am planning to sell it in the market for 10. Rahul, this 10 will become a profit because my WDV is 0. Income tax says, boss, you cannot have a capital profit. You should have actually used the asset for 100 rupees. You have only used the asset for 90 rupees. So therefore 10 rupees you have to reverse. So what will happen? In simple words, I am coming and saying the profit is taxable as balancing charge. Hey, where did we learn this? Scientific research. Rahul, same logic, no? If I had planned to sell this asset for 110, I will say deduction, I will reverse 100, and 10 extra I will tax capital gains. So no problem. Same provisions as scientific research. The problem comes in own business. If you recall, I told you any asset which you have, you should have hold it for at least 8 years. People know what they started doing. They started buying assets in specified business. And claiming full deduction. And then what happened is 1 year later they'll transfer it to normal business. What happens? Business ends up getting a huge deduction. And asset is also anyway transferred off. So what happened? Instead of claiming depreciation over the years, they got a depreciation in the single year. Actually speaking, the asset was for what? Specified business or non-specified business? It was for non-specified business. But because I wanted big deduction, I claimed everything in specified business. So what happened? Income tax came and said, boss, people are doing too much nonsense. If you're planning to transfer your asset to other businesses, do that after 8 years. Which means if I come and say that, Rahul, I am transferring this to my other business after 8 years. Is income tax okay? Not okay. They are saying I am okay. In which case your cost will become 0. Your income will also be 0. I told then you will transfer it to your block at 0. Same as scientific research. The problem came when I told I will transfer this asset to my other business within 8 assessment years. In that case, income tax is coming and saying that, Rahul, it looks like you always wanted to buy this asset for your normal business. But you purposely bought it in specified business so that you can claim all deduction. You have tried to cheat me. I am not happy. I will assume that you always had this asset for your normal business. If I always had this asset for normal business, I should have claimed on this 100 rupees what? I should have claimed depreciation. So I will come and say, tell me what would have been the asset depreciated. Assuming, Rahul, I sold this asset to my own business within 2 years. How many years? 2 years. What is my cost? 100. My cost is 100. Assuming this is a building, my depreciation rate is 10. So therefore this will become 10. Therefore it becomes 90. I used it for 1 more year. So therefore next depreciation will again be at 10 on 100 or 90. 90. Therefore it will become 81. Income tax is coming and telling your intention was always to use this business asset for your normal business. Had you used it for your normal business from the very first day, you would have only got a deduction of 10 plus 9. Yes or no? You would have only got a deduction of 10 plus 9, which means totally you would have got 19. You ended up claiming 100. I ended up giving you 100 when you should have only claimed 19. So therefore, reverse the excess. How much is the excess? 100 minus 19 is how much? It is 81. What is this 81, Rahul? 81 is the WDV. So therefore, income tax is coming and saying, I should have given you only 100. I should have given you only 19. I ended up giving you 100. Therefore, I will reverse 81. But don't worry. Since I have reversed 81, I will come and say that because I reversed 81, I am assuming this asset as a normal business asset. So you can claim depreciation now. On what number, Rahul? 100 or 19 or 81 now? I can claim it on 81 because I'll say 19 anyway I gave you. Mitchell left is only 81. So what I'm saying is, if you are transferring it within 8 years, the WDV today, if it was depreciated from day one, the WDV today, if it was depreciated from day one, will become your income. And the cost for transferring to normal business. Yes or no? Yes. In simple words, what I'm coming and telling is, you should have taken the asset for your normal business and you should have claimed only 19. Since you ended up claiming 100, the 81 which you claimed extra, I am reversing, which becomes my income. Since I'm reversing it, I'm now making this asset as your normal business asset. Which means now you can claim depreciation on 81. Yes or no? This alone is an extra addition from your scientific research. This is your extra addition. Everything else was the same as scientific research. Yes or no? Look at it carefully. Tell me if you understand. Understood? Can we do sum? Yes. Look at the sum. It says ABC Limited is having a company with 2 units. The unit A is carrying on a specified business of setting up and warehousing facility of storage of sugar. Specified business, non-specified business. Specified business. Unit B is carrying on non-specified business of operating and warehousing facility of storage of edible oil. Specified, non-specified. Unit A commenced operations on 1st April 2022 and had claimed a deduction of 100 lakhs incurred on 2 buildings of 50 lakhs each. I had bought 2 buildings. How many buildings? 2 buildings. Each building is 50 lakhs. And these 2 buildings was bought in my specified business, which means I would have claimed 35 AD. How much would I have claimed 35 AD, Rahul? I would have claimed full 100. Lakhs. Yes, they are saying, however, in February 2024, Unit A transferred one of its buildings to Unit B. In what? February 24. When did I get this building? I got this building on April 22. So I should have used this building for at least 8 years. But what happened in February 2024? I transferred this building off to my non-specified business, which means I have transferred it within 8 years or after 8 years? Within 8 years. You are required to examine the tax implications. I told you, if you have bought an asset for your specified business, use this asset for at least 8 years. Since you ended up using it for only how many years? 1 or 2? Did you use this asset for 1 year or 2 years? You used this asset for only 1 year. You used this asset for only 1 year. Rahul, why are you telling it as 1 year? Understand, you transferred it on February 2024, which means, is the asset there on 31st March? Is the asset there on 31st March? No. If the asset is not there on 31st March, I told you depreciation is always calculated at the end of the year. At the end of the year. At the end of the year, do you have the asset with you? No. If you don't have the asset with you, that year will be considered or ignored? It will be ignored, which means 22 to 23 is 1 year. 23 to 24 cannot be considered because it is ignored. So therefore, you have done only for 1 year. You have handled it only for 1 year. Income tax comes and says, if I have given you a building which is used for specified, if you have taken a building either, to building. If I have taken a building and the building is used only for specified purposes, you should hold the building for at least 8 years. If you do not hold the building for 8 years, I will assume that the building was always there for non-specified business. The building was always there for non-specified business. In non-specified business, how much did I transfer, Rahul? I transferred a building of 50 lakhs. I transferred only one building, correct or not? Yes. So I transferred a building of 50 lakhs, assuming that this building was always there in normal business. Assuming that the building was there in normal business, I would have claimed a depreciation of 10%. For which year? Previous year, 22, 23. How much would I have claimed? 5. Therefore, it becomes 45. Rahul, can I claim for 23, 24? Can I claim for 23, 24? No, because the building was transferred before February 24. So, which means income tax is coming and telling that, dear sir, you have to claim only 5. You ended up claiming 50, which means you extra claimed 45. Please reverse the 45. Please reverse the 45. So, what I will do, I will say 45 lakhs will become my income. Will become my income. The same 45 lakhs will become my cost of acquisition for the asset in unit A or unit B? Unit A or unit B? It will become in unit B. It will become in unit B. Yes. So what I will do is, for the current year, my unit B will show a cost of 45 lakhs. On this 45 lakhs, I will claim depreciation at the rate of 10%, which will become 4.5 lakhs. But please understand, this 4.5 lakhs will be claimed in unit B. Will be claimed in unit B, whereas these two numbers, the 55 and 45, all these are part of unit A. Very good. All these are part of unit A. All these are part of unit A. Yes or no? Getting it? Getting it? Check. Since the capital asset in respect of its deduction of 50 lakhs was claimed under section 35 AD, has been transferred by unit A carrying on specified business to unit B carrying on non-specified businesses in previous year 23-24, the deeming provisions are getting attracted. As per the deeming provisions, the deduction which you allowed was 50 lakhs, but you should have allowed only 5 lakhs, and therefore I am reversing 45 lakhs. However, by virtue of section explanation 43, explanation 13 to section 43, the assessee can claim depreciation of the unit B building now as per the new laws. What is the new laws? I had 50 lakhs worth of asset. I should have claimed only 45. I should have claimed only 5. Which 45 becomes my cost of the asset. So, in simple words, 45 will become your income, 45 will become your cost. 45 will become your income and 45 will become your cost. Clear? Clear? Yes. Any doubts? Can we go forward? Can we go forward? Yes. Now, question. Question. Okay. What happened is, I am a person called A. I am a person called A. Now, this A, what has done is, A has opened up a 3-star hotel in 22-23. A opened up a 3-star hotel in 22-23. Yes. Now what happened is, because he wanted to claim this 35 AD, he went and he gave an approval. He wanted to get an approval. Yes. So what happened is he went to the assessing officer and he came and said, dear assessing officer, I have opened up a 3-star hotel. I want to get an approval for 35 AD. I want to get an approval for 35 AD. Assessing officer said, yes, yes, please come sit, have a cup of coffee. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. He took all the papers and everything. But he was not ready to give the approval because he was expecting bribe. This person was an honest person. He came and said, sir, bribe and all not possible. You check my papers and everything, sir. Pakka papers, no problem at all. Everything is pakka, sir. There is no issues. Okay. You give me the approval as it is. Do you think assessing officer will give it? Not give it. So what happened? Assessing officer kept delaying. What happened is finally what happened? Assessing officer gave the approval on 1st May 2023. He gave the approval on 1st May 2023. You get the facts? Yes. When did I start the business? 22-23. I got an approval on 1st May 2023. Yes. Now for 22-23, do I have the approval in my hand? No, I don't have the approval in my hand. So what happened is A had incurred 100 crores worth of building cost. 100 crores worth of building cost on 1st May 2022. On 1st May 2022, what happened is when he was filing his return, he notified this 3-star hotel unit as a 35 AD unit. He notified this unit as a 35 AD unit and he claimed the whole 100 crores as a deduction. Basically what happened, he suppose for example got a profit of 30 crores. He did minus 35 AD, 100 crores, and he showed the profit as minus 70 crores. Assessing officer got the sheet. He pulled out the sheet and he came and said, dear assessee, your approval came only on 1st May 2023. For the financial year 22-23, do you have an approval? No. Since you do not have an approval, you are not permitted to claim 100 crores. You are only permitted to claim depreciation, which is 3 crores. Which means your profit for the year is 27 crores. Pay me tax. Yes. Now, the left side is what assessee did. The right side is what assessing officer did. The reason why assessing officer did is because he is saying that you have not got the approval for 22-23, you have got the approval with effect from 23-24. Assessing officer says 27, assessee says 70 minus. Who is right? Actually 3 crores, sorry. This is 10 crores, no? 10% of 100 crores is 10 crores. Yes, therefore it will become 20 crores. Yes. So assessing officer is saying pay tax on 20 crores. I am saying my loss is 70 crores. Who is right? Is assessee right or assessing officer right? Why? Why? Why is assessing officer right? Okay. Since the building is not approved for 22-23, you want to do it as per assessing officer. Okay. Ritanya? Are you still there? Yes. Huh.
During 22-23, he doesn't have the approval.
Okay.
Within 2 months, he is getting it.
Within 2 months, illama. Next year, second month.
That only. During filing of return, he is somehow getting aware of this.
Okay.
So, because of that, we can use the credit.
No, so the question to you, Ritanya, is in the approval sheet, will I come and tell you that you're approving from 1st May 23, or will I come and say you're approving the business is notified, so you can claim deduction. I will also put an approval date, correct? So even if that is the case, then with effect from does not, I mean, it will apply prospectively or retrospectively.
Retrospectively.
I mean, if you see an approval sheet, it will say current year only, no? So how will you apply it retrospectively?
No, will it say that from the date of
Technically, it will say that the entity is approved with effect from 1st May 2023. That's how it will say normally. Yes, what do you think is right? I'll ask you a simple question. Yes. See, at the end of the day, both you and I are not going to inform you, right? You know that I have given a bribe, or I was not getting a bribe. But tomorrow, if I'm going to a judge, do you think I'm going to inform the judge? The judge, this guy was asking me bribe, therefore the delay happened. Obviously, no. Yes, so think like a judge. Think like a judge. Will I ever come and inform you that there is a bribe happening? No. So think like a judge and ask me. Ask me right questions as a judge. Ask me the right questions as a judge. I will ask you the right questions as a judge. Yes, I am the judge. My first question will be, who made the delay? My first question will be, who made the delay? Assessing officer or assessee? Who made the delay in giving the approval? Assessing officer. Is this section a beneficial section or a restrictive section? Beneficial section. If it is a beneficial section and the delay happened from the side of assessing officer, do you think assessee should be penalized for it? No. Which means when you are trying to give a beneficial provision to someone, you should follow the beneficial provision in the spirit and its law. Yes, the idea of this section was that income tax wanted to promote the business. And so income tax came and said, since I'm trying to promote the business, I am okay with any person having a loss. I'm okay with any person having a loss. When income tax itself is ready to have a loss, can this be a restrictive provision? Can just because you giving an approval it become a condition for you? No, it cannot become a condition for you. Therefore, in my thought, I will come and say, when you bring in a beneficial provision under the law, the provisions have to be interpreted liberally. Yes, and I have to do a more liberal provision because I want assessee to get promoted out of it. If this is what is the scenario, what I will do, it will take me 2 seconds. Assessing officer will give the approval 5 years later. Until 5 years, will you keep using this or not using this? You will not keep using this, which means 5 years later, will you have the interest to ever use this provision? No, which means it will give extreme powers to assessing officer. Yes or no? Yes or no? So you have to understand that the provisions are liberal. And therefore it makes sense only to have it liberally. Yes or no? Yes or no? So which is right? For me, should I give it from the first day or should I give it from 1st May? I should give it from 1st day. Yes or no? Yes. This is what is a decision of court. Our Madras High Court came and said, where the assessee has set up a hotel and applied for a 3-star category in the same year, the deduction under 35 AD for the said year cannot be denied merely on the grounds that the approval was granted by the authority only in the next year. 35 AD is a beneficial provision and hence should be interpreted liberally. Assessee cannot be penalized for the delay made by authority for completing their inspection and granting approvals. This was a decision given in Seabros Hotel Private Limited, where Madras High Court came and allowed it in the favor of assessee. If you notice, it is given as CIT versus Seabros, which means the person who made the appeal was CIT, which means he also got it in his favor in ITAT level. In ITAT also, ITAT ruled it in favor of Seabros. In High Court also, High Court ruled it in favor of Seabros. Yes, which means this became a final decision. Where they came and said, I should not be penalized because of the default of the assessing officer. Yes or no? Make sense? Yes. Yes, ma.
So, but this is a case because he got it within filing of letter or something like that, or even if he has got with the...
I mean, see, ideally speaking, if you ask me, if you have filed an application in the current year and by the next year due date also you're not getting the application, something is wrong there itself. Okay, an assessing officer cannot hold your application for such a long period. There should be some valid reason. Yes, so which means if you are really finding difficult to get an application like this in assessing officer level, even after 1.5 years, even after 1.5 years, please feel free to go and file an appeal or go and request the superiors like JCIT and all those things that people, assessing officer is being very unsupportive. 1.5 years and all, he cannot hold my application. Yes, in that case, you can actually raise a voice and you can go and ask authorities that something is wrong. I think he is expecting something from me or he is not doing his duties properly. I want him moved out of the system. Okay, so this long of an application hold does not generally happen. Okay, if a hold is happening for such a long period, then either the assessing officer will reject the application of directly. He'll reject the application of directly, or without any conditions, he will have to approve it. Okay, but holding application for a long period is not the idea. Yep. Can we go forward? All right. This was your section of 35 AD. Any doubts? No. Until now, what we have done is we have done 4 sections. We have done 4 sections. Section 35, 35 triple C, 35 CCD, 35 AD. Yes, all the 4 sections talk about 100% deduction. All the 4 sections come and say you can claim no deduction on land. 35 triple C and 35 CCD also says you cannot deduction on building. You cannot claim a deduction on building. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind and go forward. Yes, I'm just quickly checking if I've put a summary for the 100%. Let me check if I've put a summary for 100%. If I've not put a summary for 100%, yes. Do one thing. No, you have your post-its. Yes, if you have a post-it, just to pull out your post-its. Just pull out your post-its and we're going to write a small summary. We're going to write a small summary. The summary will come and say, expenditure eligible for 100% deduction. Expenditure eligible for 100% deduction. We learned 4 items. We learned 4 items. First item was scientific research. First item was scientific research. Under that we will say not eligible on building, not eligible on land. Not eligible on land. Then we said about agricultural extension project. Agricultural extension project. We came and said not eligible on land and building. Next we said skill development project. This is also not eligible on land and building. Not eligible on land and building. And the final item we learnt is specified business. The last item we learnt is specified business. This is not applicable on land. This is not applicable on land. Yes or no? Yes. Now, Rahul, who and all can claim? Scientific research can be claimed by all assessees. Can be claimed by all assessees. Agriculture extension can be claimed by all assessees. Yes. Skill development can be claimed only by manufacturing companies. And specified business can be claimed by all assessees. Can be claimed by all assessees. Yes. Yes. From an exam perspective, no, rather than reading too much content in notes, charts always make things life simpler. Charts always make life simpler. These things and all can make your life very easy. Okay. So what you can do is after this 35 AD gets over, in page number 50, just tick it off. Just tick it off in page number 50 so that you now know that if you have to read, you can directly read this alone. From a compulsory question perspective, you now simply know that these are the 4 items which are eligible for 100%. Yes or no? Yes or no? Can we go forward? Yes. Going forward. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me know when you're done. right? Moving forward, till now what we were discussing is those kind of expenditures which are eligible for 100%, now what we're going to discuss is those kind of expenditures which are allowed over a life of the asset, what are we talking about is first item is called as spectrum fees or license fees, which is paid by operating companies, basically what is happening is you are a telecom operator like Reliance, Vodafone, Idea, Airtel and all those people. Yes, if you want to operate in India, you have to get a spectrum fees or a license fee. You have to get what? A spectrum fees or a license fee. This is basically a license given by TRAI. Who? TRAI, TRAI. It is called as Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Yes, TRAI will basically give you a license to operate in India, for you to have your networks in India, so they give you a license, or a spectrum. Yes, income tax is coming and telling that the license fees or the spectrum fees which you have incurred is a huge expense. Yes or no? Is a huge expense, but the point is this expense is going to help you over the years. Now over the years means, if you notice what is happening, Airtel is coming and saying that Airtel is going to get a license. TRAI will come and say that I'm giving you the license for 10 years. Which means, do you know the useful life of this asset now? Yes, I know it is only 10 years. After 10 years, is it there? Not there. It is not there. Yes. So which means you know that the asset is only going to be there for 10 years. When you know that the asset is only going to be there for 10 years, does it make sense for you to do depreciation? No, because depreciation is happening on WDV basis. Yes or no? So it rather makes sense for you to amortize. So therefore, income tax comes and says that when you know that the life of the asset is specific, don't charge depreciation. Let's do amortization. So the income tax comes and says that if at all you have any kind of license fees in the nature of spectrum or license, you will take the expenditure and allow it over the life of the asset. How does this work, Rahul? Let's say, for example, you got a license on 1st April 2022. And the license says that you can claim the license for 10 years. In that case, I will come and say, yes, Rahul, I can claim the license for 10 years. So I will claim the deduction from 22-23 up to 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So 20, 20, 32 and 33. Yes, which means, Rahul, if I have incurred for this license fees 1 crore, how much? 1 crore. I will allow this 1 crore over 10 years, which means every year I will allow 10 lakhs. Simple. Yes, simple provision. If you have incurred any spectrum fees or license fee to the life of the asset, you will allow the license. But the problem what has happened, Rahul, is that I actually got this license on 22. But unfortunately what happened is I got this license before even I started my business. My business actually started only on 1st April 23. My business only started from 1st April 23. Question to you, if my business started from 1st April 23, I would have started doing Pgbp only from 23 or 22? 23. Yes or no? Which means this expense was incurred before even I started my business. If I'm going to start my Pgbp from 23, can I claim for 10 years? No, because then 1 year will be lost for me. In that case, they came and said you can change this 10 years to 9 years. You can change the 10 years to 9 years, which means it will become 1 crore divided by 9 years. 1 crore divided by 9 years. Yes or no? In simple words, income tax is coming and saying, if you have paid any expense, from the date of that expense, you can amortize the asset. But in case your business itself is not started, you can amortize it from the business date. In simple words, it is the date of payment. It is what? It is the date of payment, or very good. or commencement of business, whichever is earlier or later. Later, very good. It is whichever is later. It is whichever is later. Simple. Yes, simple provisions from exam perspective. If you see any kind of expense where there is a life given, amortize it over the life. Amortize it over the life depending on how can you claim. If the expense was incurred after the business, you will take it from that date. If the expense was incurred before the business, start from the business date. Simple provision, nothing complicated. Look. Any capital expenditure incurred for the payment of spectrum fees or for obtaining license fee shall be amortized over the life of the license or the life of the spectrum, commencing from the date of actual payment for license or commencement of business. The highlight part here is you can claim only from the date of actual payment. Abdina enna artham, Rahul? Let's assume you have gone to try. You've gone to try and you've told try I want a license. Try told I will have to pay 1 crore. I went to try and I came and said, sir, 1 crore I don't have in my hand. I will pay it in installments, sir. I'll pay it in installments. 10 lakhs I will pay today, 10 lakhs next year, 10 lakhs next year, 10 lakhs next year, 10 lakhs next year. Income tax comes and says no accrual basis. The day when you make the payment, from that date only amortization will start. Okay, so if you make 10 crores only today, then you will get amortization only for the 10 crores for 10 years. Next year when you pay, it will be 10 crores for 9 years. Next year when you pay, it will be 10 crores for 8 years, then 10 crores for 7 years. You will have to do that basis. It is not actual cost of license, it is the actual payment of license, which means amortization will start only from the date on which you actually pay. Yes or no? Look at the example. Example says you are required to compute the deduction of 35 ABB if ABC Limited is commencing business on 1st April 2019. I have commenced business only from 1920. From when? 1920, and I have incurred some expenses. First expense I incurred in 1617. When? 1617. Hey, when I incurred this expense in 1617, was my business alive? Not alive. If my business was not alive, in that case, can I claim deduction from 1617? No, I can only claim deduction from 1920. So this expense will be allowed as a deduction only from 1920 till the life of the asset. I don't know what is the life, so I'm going to hold. Next, I incurred an expense on 1920. 1st April 19, I incurred an expense on 1920. At that time, is my business started? Yes. So can I claim from 1920? Yes, I can claim from 1920. Till what date, Rahul? I don't know. Hold. Next, I incurred an expense of 9th January 2023. I incurred an expense in 23-24. I incurred 2 lakh rupees. Rahul, that time did business start? Yes, business has already started in 1920. I made the payment in 23-24. So I will get a deduction only from 23-24. I'll get a deduction only from 23-24. Question says, assuming that the life of the license is 15 years coming from the first date of installment. First date of installment was 1920. Yes, so 1920 lend 15 years. 15 years. First expense you paid in 1617. Was the license there that time? No. So can you take deduction for 1617? No. 1718? No. 1819? No, which means 3 years you could not claim. 1920 can you claim? Yes. So which means this expense will be only for how many years? 12 years. Next expense you paid on 1920. Life is also ending in 15 years from the first date. So you still have to take 12 years. Yes or no? Last one, you paid expense in 23-24. How many years are already over, Rahul? I started from 16-17. So 16 is over, 17 is over, 18 is over, 19 is over, 20 is over, 21 is also over, 22 is also over, which means 7 years are over. Total life is 15. 7 years are already over, which means this I can only claim for 8 years. Yes or no? Yes or no? Check, no, carefully. Check carefully. I am taking the life as 15 years from the date of first installment. From the date of first installment. First installment was in 1617. So 16 17, 17 18, 18 19, 19 20, 20 21, 21 22, 22 23. 7 years license was not there. I paid the license money only in 23 24, which means in the 8th year. Which means in the 8th year. Which means I can only claim deduction from 8th year to 15th year. Which means 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 8 years alone I can claim. 8 years alone I can claim. Yes or no? Yes. So what will happen? Rahul, this 1 lakh by 12 I will get. 1 lakh by 12 I will get. How much is 1 lakh by 12? Check ma. How much is 1 lakh by 12? How much is 1 lakh by 12? Parallel 8,333. Next one will be 16,667. Correct? 2 lakhs by 12 is 16,667. Last one. 2 lakhs by 8. 20. Very good. 25,000. Yes. Now I am in which year, Rahul? I am in 24-25. I am in 24-25. Now 24-25. Will I get the 8,333? Yes. Will I get the 16,000? Yes. Will I also get the 25,000? Yes. Because all the three licenses are available. All the three licenses are available. So for the current year, my deduction will be 8,000 plus 16,000 plus 25,000. Number 25 plus 25, 50,000 I will get. For the current year, I will get 50,000. Yes or no? Yes or no? Make sense? Make sense? Yes, this is how you do your computation. This is how you do your computation. Any doubts? Any doubts? Check this once carefully. Check this once carefully. From 1920 till the end of the 15th year, I can claim deduction. From 1920 till the end of the 15th year, I can claim deduction. From 23-24 till the end of the 15th year, I can claim deduction. I am in 23-24. In 23-24, all the three payments are alive. All the three payments are alive. So I will add all the three payments. Total payment becomes 50,000. So current year deduction will be 50,000. Current year deduction will be 50,000. See if you understand this. Yes? Any doubts? No? Can we go forward? Can we go forward? Simple provisions, man. Nothing is complicated in this.
Last year, here the computation house.
Sorry, ma. Come again.
The last
It's
2 plus 2.
Acha, you want to. Acha, okay. This is basically in an asset format, ma. If you want to understand this format, let's do the format only. I wanted to put it simply for you, but okay, anyways. See, understand. I'm going to start the business when? 1920. Yes. So I'm going to start the business in 1920. Now, on 1920, I am going to make a payment on 1920 also. How much payment have I made on 1920? 2 lakhs. Before 1920, I've already made a payment of 1 lakh. Yes or no? So total payment I made that year is 3 lakhs. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, this payment which I made for 3 lakhs, I am eligible for deduction for 12 years because 3 years lapsed. So this year I will get a deduction of 1 by 12. Yes or no? I'll get a deduction of 1 by 12, which means how much? 8,333. Yes. Next year I'll get no, not 8,000, sorry, 15,000, no, 25,000. You will get a deduction of 25,000. Yes. Then in 2021, you will get a deduction for 1 by 12, again 25,000. In 21-22, you will get a deduction of again 1 by 12, which is 25,000. In 22-23 also, you will get a deduction of 25,000. Yes or no? Yes. Remove the items. Remove, how much is it? 1 lakh. Yes. So you have amortized already 1 lakh. You have amortized already 1 lakh, which means left of asset is 2 lakh. Yes. In this year, you're now going to make an addition. You're now going to make an addition because this year you've made a payment. How much payment have you made? You've paid a payment of 2 lakhs. You've made a payment of 2 lakhs. Total is 4 lakhs. Now, you are in which year? You are in 2023-24. How many is the life of the year available? How much is the life pending? In 15 years, how much life is pending? You've already exhausted 7 years, which means pending is 8 years. So this year now you will get deduction of 1 by 8, which is 50,000. Okay, what I did is I split all the license and I showed individually. Here I've clubbed all the license and shown together. I've clubbed all the license and shown together. Answer is still the same. Answer is still the same. Nothing has changed. Yes, Ritanya? Make sense? Yes, your choice. In exam, if you want to split and show the license also, it means the same. If you want to show it together also, it means the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, at the end of the day, the answer will tally. The answer will tally. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, perfect. Now, I told you, whenever you have an asset, we always come around sales. We always come around sales. When we talked about SLM, we did sales. When we did scientific research, also we did sales. When we did scientific research, specified business, also we did sales. Now we are moving to the next sales. Which means sale of the license. Now what is happening? Understand, I am, let's say, Vodafone. I have got a license for operating in India. Okay. 5 years later, I decided that I don't want to operate anymore. So I told Idea, let's do one thing. Vodafone, I will give my license to you. To whom? Idea. So now going forward, who's going to operate in my name? Idea will operate in my name. Now license I had, was it an asset for me or not an asset? It was an asset. So I ended up giving my license to Idea. Will I give it for free? No. I came and said, boss, I will give it to you for some price. So I'm trying to find out the sale value now. Income tax is coming and saying that if you have tried to sell your whole license, what have you done? You have tried to sell your whole license. In that case, the provisions are same as SLM method. What is SLM method? There also you have one asset. Each asset you are planning to sell. So what I'll do, I'll come and say, Rahul, I'll do the same method as SLM. Look at my example. Assuming 23-24, my asset is showing 4 lakhs. For that year, I claimed a depreciation of 50. Depreciation deduction. I claim for 50. Asset left is 3 lakh 50. Yes or no? Yes. Now, in this year, I planned to sell my asset. I went to someone, Idea, and I came and said, dear Idea, I want to sell my license to you. Am I giving him my whole license or part of the license? I'm giving him my whole license. Yes. Income tax is coming and saying, do the method as SLM. In simple words, I'll come and ask, are you giving it to him for 4 lakhs? Understand, my asset is showing at 350. I'm giving it for 4 lakhs, which means 50 is my profit. But income tax says there can never be a profit. It indirectly means that I've given you extra deduction. So let me reverse the deduction and offer it to tax. So income tax is saying 4 lakhs if you have given, this will become balancing charge. Yes or no? This will become balancing charge. Rahul, no. I did not give it for 4 lakhs. I gave it for 3,20,000. How much did I give it for? 3,20,000. Then in that case, I'll say I by mistakenly gave you lower deductions. I have to give you more deduction, which means that 30,000 will be called as terminal. Depreciation was there. This will become terminal deduction. Yes or no? Yes. Option number 3. I'm saying no, Rahul. I'm not giving for 4. I'm not giving for 320 also. I'm actually giving it for 3 plus 2, 5. I'm actually giving it for 6 lakhs. I'm giving it for 6 lakhs. Income tax is saying that, Rahul, you bought the license totally for only 5 lakhs. 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. You bought it only for 5 lakhs. You have ended up giving it for 6 lakhs, which means you actually never wanted to use the license itself. You never wanted to use the license itself. What I will do, whatever profit you have, to the extent of the deduction which you claimed, to the extent of the deduction which you claim will become balancing charge. Over and above will become capital gains. Over and above will become capital gains. How much deduction did I claim, Rahul? I claimed 1 lakh plus 50,000. Yes. So my balancing charge will become 1 lakh 50,000. This will become taxable under Pgbp. This will become taxable under Pgbp. How much extra profit did I got, Rahul? 6 lakhs is my sale, 3 lakh 50 is my cost. Extra profit is 2 lakh 50. In that 2 lakh 50, 1 lakh 50 I told I'll offer to Pgbp. Miche 1 lakh, Miche 50,000 I will go to, sorry, Miche 1 lakh la. Miche 1 lakh will go to capital gains. Why, Rahul? I've sold it beyond my cost. I've sold it beyond my cost. Hey, any doubts in this, or is it confusing? Purida. Yes, whatever asset price I had, in that asset price, if I have ended up selling it for lesser than the asset price, it will be called as loss. That will go terminal deduction. If I have sold it for a profit, I will take balancing charge. But if I have ended up selling it more than my cost also, the extra will become capital gains. We did the same thing in SLM method. This will apply only in case you do a total sale. In case you do a total sale, which means you have sold all your license. You have sold all your license. In that case, you do SLM method. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Rahul, what if I did a partial sale? In that case, you will do the WDV method. What will you do? You will do WDV method. Rahul, what is WDV method? I am saying that, Rahul, if I have sold the asset, I have sold full asset or part asset? I have sold part asset. If I have sold part asset, I will remove the sale value from the license. Simple example, same example. 3,50,000. I have planned to sell it for 3,20,000. I have planned to sell it for 3,20,000. What will I do? I will reduce this from my sale. So which means my license value now left is only 30,000. This 30,000 I will amortize over the balance life, which is 6 years here. 6 or 7? 7 years. Which is 7 years. Why am I doing that, Rahul? Because license is still available. License is alive. So therefore no problem. Assuming you sell it for 4 lakhs. A block available, not available? Block is available, not available? Block is available. Your cost is 3,50,000. You're selling it for 4 lakh. If you reduce 4 lakh, will block be available, not available? It will not be available. Do the same SLM method. Which means 50,000 will get added to my profit. 50,000 will be added to my profit. Rahul, I sold it for 6 lakhs. Will block be available, not available? Will block be available, not available? It will not be available. Same do SLM method, which means to the extent of 1,50,000, it will become Pgbp, balance will become capital gains. In simple words, Rahul, if you plan to sell the whole license, it is SLM method. If you plan to sell part license, it is WDV method. Yes or no? Yes. Make life simple, people. Don't mug up provisions. Where the whole of the license is available, it will become SLM method. Where part of the license is available, the amount balance will be amortized. We're doing the same logic as WDV and SLM method. On the bottom, you'll find some notes. It says, no depreciation will be allowable on the license and spectrum fees, which is claimed under 35AB and 35ABB. Do you know this or don't know this? You know this, obviously. I told you if there is a fixed term, you will not do depreciation, you will do deduction. So you do deductions. Next, in case of an amalgamation or demerger, the deductions will continue to apply in the hands of the new entity. Vodafone has not planned to sell it to Idea. Vodafone and Idea decided they will together become VI. Now the license is available in the name of VI will claim deduction. Simple logic. Yes, where the deduction is claimed in any previous year and subsequently there is a failure to comply with the provisions of this section, AO can recompute the deduction of that year by using rectification application. From exam perspective, any of the notes is important, not important? From exam perspective, any of the notes important, not important? Not important. Not important. Can you do the sums without this also? Yes, you can do the sums without this also. Doesn't matter. In most of the sections which we have, notes are not important. You would ignore the notes also. Pgbp will happen. Your Pgbp chapter may look like 50 pages in my book. Anna, actually when you try to read the Pgbp chapter, it will only be hardly 15 pages. Okay, because you only have to read some provisions. There are too many admin provisions in the chapter which will not come for exam purposes. Once we complete the chapter, like I told you, we'll do a marathon. In that marathon, I'll try to tell you what and all to read from exam perspective. Clear? Yes, this is what your chapter on license fee. Any doubts? No. Can we do the questions? Yes, let's do a question. It says, Easy Call Limited is providing you telecom services in Mumbai and has obtained a license on 1st April 2021. On 1st April 2021 for a period of 10 years ending on 31st March 2031. Okay, so I've taken a license on 2021. Your previous year or previous year? It's previous year. Yes, you have taken a license for how much? 27 lakhs against a payment of 9 lakhs each. First payment is happening on 21, second payment is happening on 22, third payment is happening on 23. Question to you, Rahul, can you start amortizing 27 lakhs from year 1 itself, or will you amortize 9 lakhs in year 1, 9 lakhs in year 2 and 9 lakhs in year 3? You will do as per payment schedule. You cannot amortize the whole 27 lakhs in the first year itself. You have to do it on actual payment. The company commenced business only on 1st April 22, which means when you got the license on 21, was the company there? Not there. Can you claim the deduction for that company in that year? No, which means you can only start deduction from 22. Explain how the payment of the license fee shall be dealt under the Income Tax Act and the amount, if any, deductible on 24-25. Amount, if any, deductible under 24-25. Now, you are going to start business when? You are going to start business on 1st April 22. Yes, when you start your business on 1st April 22, on that date, you are going to incur a cost that year. Yes, you are going to incur a cost that year. So, cost incurred is how much? I am saying I am going to incur 9 lakhs. Yes or no? But on that very same day, you had already incurred an expense in the past year. Yes, expense incurred on when did you incur that expense? You incurred that expense on April 21. Were you able to claim any deduction for that April 21? No, because the business was not commenced. So you will add that expense also. Total expense which is eligible for deduction is 18 lakhs. Correct or not? Now, question to you. On this 18 lakhs, how many years have you left? How many years do you have left? You bought the license on 21. That time you had 10 years. Now you are in 22. You have only 9 years. So you will claim deduction for 9 years. So it is 1 by 9. How much will this become? This will become 1 by 9 will become 2 lakhs. 1 by 9 will become 2 lakhs, which means on 31st March 2023, the license left with me is 16 lakhs. Yes or no? Now, in this year, I have also made an additional expenditure of third installment. How much? Another 9 lakhs. Yes or no? 9 lakhs each is happening on 23 also. Yes, so I am going to incur one more expenditure of 9 lakhs. Total expenditure left is 25. Yes or no? This 25. How much is the life left, Rahul? Last year it was left 9. Now left is 8. So I will deduct 1 by 8. I will deduct 1 by 8. Number is 3,12,500. 3,12,500. Now this deduction is happening for which year, ma? It is happening for previous year 23-24. Question is asking you for which previous year? Question is asking for previous year 20, assessment year 24-25, which means previous year 23-24, which means for the current year the deduction is 3,12,500. 3,12,500. Yes or no? Yes or no? I can do it in another way also. I can come and say for the first 9 lakhs, I have a period of 8 years. For the second 9 lakhs, I have a period of 8 years. For the last 9 lakhs, I have a period of 7 years. Yes or no? Yes, because 23 plus 7 years. Yes, so I have a period of, 8 years or 9 years. Ulta. Sorry. For the first 9 lakhs, I have a period of 9 years. For the second 9 lakhs, I have a period of 9 years. For the third, I have a period of 8 years. So for this one, I'll get a deduction of 1 lakh per year. Second one, I'll get a deduction of 1 lakh per year. Third one, I'll get a deduction of 1,12,500 per year. 1,12,500 per year, which means if I want to claim a deduction for 23-24, is all the 3 license alive? Yes, so I will get a deduction of 3,12,500. I'll get a deduction of 3,12,500. I am doing simple maths, man. Nothing in tax. Pure maths I am doing. Check. Number is 3,12,500. Clear? Can we go for? Yes, question number 12. It says, X Limited is providing telecommunication services, acquired a license cost at a cost of 50 lakhs on 1st April 21. I acquired a license of 1st April 21 for a period of 10 years. Assuming that the telecom license is transferred by X Limited in 23-24. Which year? 23-24. Now I have only one license which I acquired in 50 lakhs. How many period? 10 years. I am right now in 23-24. I'm in 23-24. How many years are over? Check. I bought it in 21-22. So 21-22, 22-23. So 2 years over. 2 years over. So 2 years ka how much amortization I would have already done? 50 lakhs is my cost. 10 years is the license fee. Therefore, I would have amortized each year 5 lakhs. So 2 years over now I would have amortized 10 lakhs. So what is my current WDV? 40 lakhs. So my WDV is 50 lakhs minus 5 lakhs into 2 years. Yes or no? So therefore it will become 40 lakhs. Keep this in mind. Question is coming and saying that on 23-24 I am planning to sell this license for 32 lakhs. Now if I am planning to sell this license for 32 lakhs, have I incurred a profit or a loss? I have incurred a loss. Yes or no? Income tax is coming and saying that if you are planning to incur losses, ask yourself, are you doing SLM method or WDV method? Ask yourself if you are doing SLM method or WDV method. When will I do SLM method, Rahul? If I am selling whole license. I will do WDV method if I am selling part license. So I will come and ask myself, Rahul, 32 lakhs is my cost sale value. 32 lakhs is my sale value. Therefore, my total loss is 8 lakhs. Yes or no? I will come and ask, tell me, are you doing a total license sale or are you doing a part license? Are you doing a total license or are you doing a part license? Rahul, I am doing total license sale. Here, asset there with me, not there with me. If asset is not there, I am going to follow SLM method. If I am following SLM method, I will come and say this capital loss is actually a shorter deduction gave in the past year. I have to give this deduction in the current year, which means this will be called as terminal deduction. Yes or no? It will be called as terminal deduction. In simple ways, 8 lakhs can be claimed in P&L, not claimed in P&L. It can be claimed in P&L, so which means fully allowed. Yes or no? It will be fully allowed. Come to the right side. Come to the right side. I am saying, Rahul, I have done part license sale. I have done a part license sale. If I have done a part license sale, I will follow WDV method. If I am following WDV method, I told you, whenever you sell something, remove that from the block. I am going to remove 32 from 40, which means my block is still alive, not alive. My block is alive, which means if my block is alive, do I have to put something in my P&L? No. I will come and say I will continue amortization. Yes or no? Now, how many periods will I continue, Rahul? 10 years was a license, 2 years already gone, left off is 8 years. I have left off 8 lakhs. So, 8 lakhs will be amortized over 8 years. Yes or no? 8 lakhs will be amortized over 8 years, which means per year I will get 1 lakh. Per year I will get 1 lakh. Yes or no? Yes or no? I am doing simple depreciation. The only difference is in depreciation I have a rate. Here I have years. Check this and let me know if you didn't understand. All clear? Can we go forward? Yes. Scenario number 2. They are coming and saying, Rahul, I've sold it for 43. Hey, my license itself was 40. If my license was 40, I sold it for 43. Have I made a profit or have I made a loss? I've made a profit. How much profit have I made? 3 lakhs profit I have made. Hey Rahul, will I check for total license or part license? I will not check. Because even if I tell part license, my block is gone. Even if I check total license, my block is gone, which means I will directly do SLM method. SLM method comes and says that if you have earned a profit, it is reason because you have done deduction earlier. Reverse the deduction, which means this 3 lakhs will become balancing charge. 3 lakhs will become balancing charge. Rahul, if it is becoming balancing charge, in simple words, I have to offer to tax. Yes or no? Clear? Last scenario. Rahul, I sold it for 52 lakhs. Hey, I bought the asset for 50 lakhs. I sold it for 52 lakhs. Currently, my block is showing 40 lakhs. I sold it for 52 lakhs, which means I got a profit of 12 lakhs. Hey Rahul, if I've got a profit of 10 lakhs, do I have to split between my block? Do I have to check whether part license or total license? No. I can directly come and say both will follow SLM method. Now I am coming and saying that I bought it for 50 lakhs, I have sold it for 52 lakhs. Technically, I did not even use the license. So which means whatever cost that I have already claimed as deduction, I have to first reverse it. So I will come and say out of the 12 lakhs, I will first reverse my deduction. Yes or no? I'll first reverse my deduction. How much deduction did I claim? I claimed 10 lakhs. So I will reverse 10 lakhs. This 10 lakhs is called as balancing charge. What do I have to do? I have to offer to tax. What is left, Rahul? Left is 2 lakhs. My total profit was 10 lakhs. Left is 2 lakhs. What is this 2 lakhs? This 2 lakhs will become capital gains. Rahul, how did you get this 2 lakhs? 2 lakhs is basically sale value minus original cost. Yes or no? I initially purchased it for 50 lakhs. My sale value is 52 lakhs. Extra is 2 lakhs, that is what my investment is. That is what my investment is. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. This is how it looks like in all the 3 scenarios. This is how it looks like in all the 3 scenarios. Check and let me know if you understand. Check and let me know if you understand. Just be very clear. If you don't understand, let me know. I'll do it once again. Tanya, all clear? All clear, ma? Yes. Take a minute when you go home. I have yesterday only shared you all the answer sheet also. Yes, the whole answers have also been given to you. First try it yourself. Then look at the book also. The book will have a lengthier method, ma. The book will have a lengthier method. You don't have to follow such a lengthier method and all. Okay. You can follow my charts. At the end of the day, answer is same. What you have to do is you have to just make the notes properly. Okay. Content matto correct ayildu. What method you show in arrow formats or you show in table formats, answer will remain the same. That's not a problem. Okay. So please go home at your end. Please practice it once again and then try this once again. Try to match your numbers. Done. Yes. This is your deduction in respect of license fee and spectrum fee. This is your deduction in respect of license fee and spectrum fee. Last topic for the day, we are talking about zero coupon bonds. Rahul, what is zero coupon bonds? Does anyone know what is zero coupon bonds? Any idea? Have you heard about this in the past?
They don't carry any interest, but they'll be issued at discount and
very good. Zero coupon bonds in another English is called as deep discount bonds. What bonds? Deep discount bonds. Basically, this is a bond which does not carry an interest. They come and say that, Rahul, I want 100 rupees from you. But don't worry, don't give me 100. You give me only 80. The reason is because in the future, when I repay back, I will give you 100. But today you give me only 80. The reason why he is ready to take this loss of 20 is because he will come and say, in the future, I will never pay you interest. In a simple bank transaction, what will you do? You will take a loan of 100 and you will pay interest on 100 and you will repay back 100. Here I am coming and saying, I will only pay 80. I will get back 100, but I will not pay interest. If you think about it, technically you got interest. Because the 20 rupees profit which you made, no, that was an interest only for you. Yes or no? That was an interest only for you. At the same time, that was a loss for the other person. I am on the side of the other person. Income tax comes and says, if you are planning to issue zero coupon bonds, you know you are going to incur a loss. And since it is a zero coupon bond, you also know at which day you are going to redeem it. So which means, do you have a fixed life? Not fixed life. You have a fixed life. If you have a fixed life, I told you it is better to do amortization. So I'm coming and saying, you have a fixed life, you amortize it over the life. Now the question to you is, zero coupon bonds are generally issued for a longer period or a shorter period? Zero coupon bonds are issued for a shorter period, which means you cannot do it on a yearly basis. You can only do it on a month basis. Okay, so the only difference between spectrum and license fee and zero coupon bonds is that this is done on a monthly basis. So provisions are the same. Provisions come and say, if you have to incur any losses on zero coupon bonds, the loss which you are planning to incur will be amortized over number of months. Look at the example. The example says the face value of zero coupon bond is 2000. And has been issued on 10th November 2023 at 1400 rupees. Now understand, you gave it for 1400. You are going to pay back 2000, which means you issued it at discount. How much discount did you issue it at? 600, which means you know your loss is 600. And I'm saying this is redeemable after 180 days, which means I'm going to redeem it on May. When did I issue it, ma? I issued it in November. So the bond was alive for November, December, January, February and March and April and May. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now the problem what you have is the bond is there for how many months? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you notice, November I issued it on 10th November. I issued it on 10th November. May I issued it, I got it back on 9th May. Which means technically if you think about it, May was there for a full period, not there for full period. May was there for full period or not there for full period? It was not there for full period. Income tax comes and says use rounding of concept. Use what concept? Rounding of concept, which means in that month, if you have more than 15 days, you take the month. If the month does not have more than 15 days, you ignore the month. November, you issued it on 10th November, which means how many days you have left? 20 days. So which means this will become 1 month. December full month was there, so therefore full month. January full month. February full month. March full month. April full month. May you redeemed it on 9th, which means bond was alive only for 9 days. Will you take the month? No, you will not take the month. You will not take the month. The total months how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, which means you have a loss of 600. You have a loss of 600. This 600 will be amortized over 6 months, which means per month you will book 100. Per month you will book 100. Now notice the years, notice the months, notice the months. This is a part of 1 month. Yes, November to March will fall in 1 financial year. April will fall in 2nd financial year. Therefore, what will happen? You will in 1 financial year claim 100 into 5, 500. Which 100 you will claim in next financial year. Which 100 you will claim in next financial year. Yes or no? Yes, that's all is the provision. That's all is the provision. Simple provision. You have a 0 coupon bond. You amortize it over the number of months. Months, if it is less than 15 days, ignore the month. More than 15 days, take the month. Take the month. In simple words, Rahul, in income tax, if you have a provision where they have given you the license period years or they have given you the 0 coupon bond months, forget depreciation, forget everything else, follow the number of months concept or number of years concept. For your sake of reference, you will find this in a summary format in page number 54. In page number 54. So the number of life of the asset amortize panano sollte 54 la irukku. Okay, so you don't have to read all those stories. You can read this. You can read this. Clear? Clear? All good? Perfect. In today's class, we have done some provisions on 100% deduction. We have done some provisions on life of the asset. Next class, we are going to do some provisions on 5 years concept. On 5 years concept, with which we are done with deductions. With which we are done with deductions. Then we'll move to disallowances and try to complete the chapter. Okay? Yes. If you feel like I'm going fast, if you feel like you want me to explain something, please do let me know at a certain point of time, because Pgbp is an important chapter. I don't want you to miss it out. Clear? Yes. Out of time, so we'll stop for the day. Thank you, people. Have a good day.